Wait a minute. We're not ready yet on this side. No. Yeah, well, that's cool. Are we going live? Oh, we are live. We're live? Okay, we are live. Welcome. Greetings and salutations. Yes, you caught us in the midst of actually preparing to go live as we get set up here. So, hey, welcome once again. You are tuned in to another episode of
The Health Class You Never Had.
Which is, in fact, we may not be able to be heard because of the microphone. You see, still getting set up here. So make sure this microphone is plugged in here, and we'll be all good to go on the volume, right? Because there's no volume now, right? Clarice? Mic check 1, 2. All right, mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. All right, so again, welcome to another episode of the Health Class That You Never Had. The Health Class You Never Had, and which is our weekly live broadcast, if you will, of information pertaining to health and wellness from a holistic perspective. And just as a reminder, we, the Collective Health Initiative, our chief practitioners, we're not medical doctors. We are indigenous health practitioners, simply sharing our story of our experiences dealing with certain remedies, using all natural processes. All right. And so for today's show, this is where we usually announce who our practitioners are. However, today's show is about our practitioners specifically. So you'll get a chance to hear in their own words exactly what they bring to the table, their story, how they got involved in healing, just a little bit more intimately get to know your indigenous health practitioners. So, and with that, we might as well just go ahead and get started with, well, before that, there is a question on the table, right? As it pertains to the C.H.I. Who and what the C.H.I. is. So basically, got these notes written down here to kind of keep things flowing, you see, in a nice copacetic way. So again, what is the C.H.I.? Well, also known as the Collective Health Initiative. Let's see, get this thing a little situated for this camera view here. This thing's more comfortable. The C.H.I., also known as Collective Health Initiative, its purpose and the role it plays in the health of humanity. Simply put, the C.H.I. is the manifestation of a vision of a holistic HMO. And basically an HMO, as we can look at it, is an acronym, first of all, for Health Maintenance Organization, in the sense that we are a network or a group of indigenous health practitioners working together to provide low-cost, holistic health products and services. And we use the word indigenous loosely to indicate the original or first people on the planet and in which we are descendants of. And by embracing our indigenous culture, we look at health from a holistic perspective, which for us is the relationship between our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies and our environment. What is our purpose? Our purpose as a holistic HMO is to share and simplify practical, useful, holistic wellness concepts and information to our communities in need as a tool of empowerment that could help to improve our overall collective and individual qualities of life. This is accomplished with our free pop-up health clinics, holistic HMO packages, which are on our webpage, and our weekly or strongly broadcast of the Health Class You Never Had. And so what is our role in health of humanity? Well, quite simply put, as indigenous health practitioners, we embrace the philosophies of know thyself, heal thyself, and each one teach one. So as we progress on our journey of knowing and healing ourselves, We share our findings and insight in useful and practical ways so that others are inspired and encouraged to fully participate and engage in their own journey of healing self. So as to each one of us, teach one of us by our example as we naturally and organically become a beacon of light for health, pardon, health and humanity. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, throat chakra. So, and with that again, that is again a nutshell. What is the chi? Our role, our purpose as we see it. Again, just to provide a little more insight into the nature of who we are, because we've been around for what, about 12 years now. So, and this is the time that we will usually, again, go into our practitioners, and being as though some of them are across the country, in Africa, and other parts of the town, and scheduling things like that. What we've done was actually prepared clips, and this is from previous episode in which we actually specifically shared about ourselves. So, with that being said, let's roll the clip with Clarice, Sister Clarice. Find out more about Sister Clarice and Rooted in Nature. And Sister Clarice is actually on the board, so that sharing should be done soon. There we go. Some happening.
So we're going to get into Sister Clarice Manning's work, and I'm going to briefly read her bio. Clarice is an artist of many platforms. One of those platforms is in the creation of natural skin and hair care products. She came into making products out of finding solutions to her own health challenges, in particular, the common skin disorder of eczema. We definitely have to talk about that. Through much research and testing, she formulated products that have resulted in relief and restoration, not only for herself, but for others who have also benefited from her products. She is committed to bringing awareness to the contents in commercial products that are used by many every day by providing products that are safer and healthier for the well-being of the entire body. Everybody give it up for Sister Clarice. And her product line is called Rooted in Nature. Rooted in Nature. So before we get to talking about all of this great stuff about skincare and hair care, is there anything you want to open up?
Just happy to be here, happy to share my craft with everybody, and just put out there to everybody of how important it is for you to care about what you put on your skin, and how that affects you entirely, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well.
Excellent.
Self-care. Exactly, yeah. All about self-care.
So we definitely have to get into this topic of eczema first, because this is a big, big thing, especially we're technically still in the winter season, and for people who are in colder environments, even though it's been relatively warm here in the Washington D.C. metro area,
And you're on the phone on the video for my person's being on the phone on the video.
Water that affects people's skin and so many different things. What are some of the things that you've discovered that have helped you
Yeah,
with
the way
eczema
that
and
being presented.
products play a role in
The video is being shown as well as Precious in my person on the screen too.
Have found to be effective
All right.
is, well, first of all, making sure you drink plenty of water. That is important. Extremely important. Dehydration, especially during the summer months, but even during the winter, people don't tend to drink enough water. So that's one thing. And then also another thing is to make sure your skin is well hydrated. Um, Also, to even when you take a shower, like Dr. You mentioned about the quality of the water when you're taking a shower, that water is processed. It's has stuff added to it, so it can leave your skin from time to time feeling a little bit extra dried out than usual. So just using anything from shea butter will work, oils. I usually suggest people when you use oil to make sure you use it when your skin is damp, either damp coming out of the shower or after you take a bath, or you can even take a spray bottle and spritz your skin and then apply the oil. And what that does is it helps the oil to penetrate your skin even further than if you use just the oil alone by itself.
So
That's
wait a minute, I
another
got a
thing.
question about these oils though. So because when we was kids, mama said don't put no oil on your face, you'll break out. So what kind of oils are you talking about?
Okay, so anything that oils, okay, anything that you eat is good for your skin. So almond oil, sunflower oil, olive oil, those particular things. Now, with exception of mineral oil, canola oil, those particular types of oils, they're not good for your skin. They can, yeah, definitely clog it up and whatnot. So,
Not baby oil, not Vaseline.
not baby oil,
Or
not
petroleum
Vaseline.
jelly.
No, and then even to take it further, depending on your skin, like depending on the person, some oils may be a little bit heavier than others for certain people. So it just goes according to you trying things out and see what's best for you. So oils that are such as olive oil, sunflower oil, those are more on the lighter side. Even I would say jojoba oil, they're a little bit lighter, not as uh, almost the consistency of water. And then you have the heavier oils like almond oil, coconut oil, maybe avocado oil, walnut. Those kind of things are a little bit heavier. So those might not bother you, but so for some people it might. So you just have to try it out and see which one works best for yours.
Is that I am definitely a proud customer of deodorants.
Oh, yes.
Natural deodorants. And, one of the things that I've experienced personally with other deodorants, once I started to become aware of like the aluminum issues and stuff like that, is that either the deodorants didn't protect very well in terms of, um, activity. When you're active and you're sweating and you don't want your underarms smelling crazy, some of the natural, quote unquote, natural deodorants didn't do the job on that end, and I'm a very active person with drumming. And or the other side of it is that some deodorants would tend to break me out,
Irritated.
irritate or that type of thing like that. And her deodorants have been very good in my personal experience with them. So can you speak to just like the importance of the deodorants that ingredients and how that affects health?
Yeah, so most deodorants, commercial deodorants, they do have aluminum in them. They also have other types of ingredients that is not necessarily great for putting under your arms, whereas it could cause blockages to your lymph nodes, and there has been some reports of some ingredients causing cancer, breast cancer, things like that. So it is definitely best to go the natural route when it comes to deodorants, especially in an area that's very important for your body to cool down, conditioning. Like I said, you have lymph nodes, which are is cells under your arms and other parts of your body that helps to regulate your body. So, um, it's very important.
Oh,
And
sweat glands.
yeah, and the deodorant that I create is very simple ingredients: baking soda, the herbal oil that I create with coconut oil and essential oils.
Excellent stuff.
And so, just for those who may not be as familiar with Sister Cat New, creator of Soulful Touch Wellness and all the many aspects and dimension, multidimensional healing that she's up into, holistic it is. Just to show you about her bio right here. So, Sister Cat New, Nefer is a Gula Gucci holistic health practitioner.
Gullah Geechee.
Gullah Geechee. Gullah Geechee. Apologies. Gullah Geechee. Yes, that's important, you know. Gullah Geechee, holistic health practitioner, originally from Johns Island, South Carolina, who was a passionate womb warrior and women's health advocate, an Army veteran, uterine cancer survivor, and a licensed massage therapist for over 15 years. Katnu uses various modalities to assist women on their path to well-being. She is a newly published author, dance certified, Egyptian yoga instructor, a dancer, certified Egyptian yoga instructor, herbalist, certified womb sauna practitioner, certified birth doula, certified Kakula African dance instructor, certified auricular therapy practitioner, and a massage professor. It's a lot there. So she's multidimensional. And as a graduate of the American College of Healthcare Sciences in Portland, Oregon, Katnu established her mobile holistic wellness company, a Soulful Touch Wellness, now located in Washington, D.C., where she provides various workshops, products, and services to assist women in healing their wombs and their lives. Katnu is also the founder of the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering, taking place in March 2020 in Charleston, South Carolina.
This coming Saturday, y'all.
That's right. So, no further ado, in her own words, Katnu Nefer.
Primarily, I am a women's health coach. I enjoy helping women heal themselves. I don't consider myself a healer. I feel that I am a conduit of healing because it's our job to heal ourselves and connect with others who can help facilitate that healing for us. And that's the type of space that I like to hold for women through my mobile practice. And what that looks like varies from person to person. So I do incorporate some or all of those things that was listed, and I'm sure I forgot something in that bio. But in the same time, it's very important that women, especially women of color, Black women, utilize these different tools to facilitate healing within themselves, and that's the main premise of my business. And being mobile kind of eliminates the excuses of I don't have transportation, who's going to watch my kids, I don't want to come out sometimes because especially people deal with depression. They may not want to deal with the public, and so this allows them to be in the comforts of their own home and getting services. And I try to keep things affordable as well, so to eliminate that. And give you privacy, and so it's one of those beautiful things that I love to offer is the mobile services. So I think that's very beneficial. So I service a 40-mile radius from DC. So I have clients in Baltimore, Reston, Woodbridge, Fort Washington, in DC. So travel all over it, and being able to bring, my tools to them is very important.
What kind of response can you give an idea of like some of the sisters you work with? You say specialize with women. Do you have like a lot of main issues or something common that you come and run across?
I like to deal with womb issues because, like you said in my bio, I am a uterine cancer survivor, so I know firsthand what it feels like to be in ownership of a womb in disease. And that could look like many different things. We were talking before the show about fibroids. Fibroids are very prevalent in the African American community, and that's one of the things that I've been seeing on the uptake as of late. Or just general menstrual issues, menstrual cramps, heavy bleeding, that type of stuff. I also offer fertility massage, so I help women who, like myself, who are dealing with infertility. So that's one of the things that has been on the uptake as well, because I find that in our community, it has become so taboo to talk about that, because most people expect you to be fruitful and multiply, but they don't realize that some of us have a challenge, and it may be physical or maybe metaphysical, that is preventing us from calling in our child or children. And so that's one of the things that has been really near and dear to me, because it's something that I can personally relate.
Right.
And so I wanted to offer that service to women so that they don't feel like they're alone, and they have someone who looks like them who can relate, and I know how it is to tell their story over and over again.
So earlier you had mentioned about metaphysical. We heard that word out there, and kind of, oh, metaphysical. Are you able to maybe share some insight? Because I'm seeing a lot of womb issues, female issues is prevalent these days. Can you give insight to maybe some metaphysical causes and things that women may not think that can cause certain things? Insight of it.
Yeah, especially with fibroids. Most people think, oh, it's just my diet, but I found in some of my clients, it's the issues with dealing with a male figure. It doesn't necessarily have to be a father, but there's some unresolved either trauma or issue that a lot of times is associated with the fibroid, and that mass kind of represents that massive issue that's there. And fibroids can be as small as a few centimeters, or they can be as large as 20 pounds, like I talked about earlier. So
maybe.
Yeah, definitely. And
Definitely.
definitely. And so for women, our womb is our creative space, and most people just identify it as the birth space, but it's the birth space of our dreams, our ideas, our hopes, in addition to an actual infant. So she also helps to filter a lot that we're going through. So when our wombs become inundated with too much toxic environment, toxic energy, toxic sexuality, it becomes overwhelmed, and fibroids is one of those byproducts of that. And if we don't deal with it with our emotional health and our spiritual health,
Right.
that's where it is, and that's how I approach health. Because a lot of people are very dogmatic by the book, this herb, this thing, that thing, and they treat the symptoms, but they don't treat the person. They don't look at the person's lifestyle, what they are ingesting physically, what they're ingesting sonically, what they're ingesting religiously. So you have to look at all aspects of the person to help them heal. Because yes, this can go away right now, but if you're still in that toxic job,
Right.
you can't expect the migraines to go away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're constantly stressed and in that job, and you can't figure out why, I can give you all the holistic herbs and protocols to help you with that. But if you don't change your environment, It's not
Right.
going to change. So, it's just incorporating more of a holistic lifestyle, mind, body, spirit. When we hear the term holistic thrown around a lot, but
Yeah.
most people don't identify. They just think that's herbs.
Right.
They say holistic health herbs. Oh yeah, herbs, massage,
Okay. Yeah.
drink water, vitamins. Yeah,
Right.
you're not thinking, positive speech, affirmations. Doing mindful exercises, yoga, that type of stuff. So
Changing the way you think about it.
changing the way you think,
perspective,
your perspective,
paradigm.
yes. So those are all incorporated with that.
Right. So just for those who may not be as familiar with Dr. Yu, although he's very well known across the DMV and the community, conscious community. But for those who may be watching, online who may not be familiar, just read Dr. Yu's formal bio here. Yuma, Dr. Yu Bellamy is a certified holistic health consultant, herbalist, wellness advocate, educator, and musical artist who has been studying health and herbal medicine since graduating from high school. It's a long time, huh?
Not that old.
It just sounds like it. Right. Since high school, and has been featured in numerous radio programs, natural hair, health, and beauty expos, magazine articles, herbal conferences, and community and school programs as a speaker and workshop facilitator on holistic wellness. He shares information and wellness suggestions from an approach combining holistic theory, African-centered thinking, nature, research, practical knowledge, experiences, metaphysics, and love. Absolutely, absolutely. He is also the initiator of U360, Holistic Health and Wellness, U360, YEU360.com, co-founder of Needham Baya African Drum and Dance Ensemble, and a member of the Collective Health Initiative, which is obviously we're right here, as well as the African Holistic Health Association, AWA, here in Washington, D.C. And just a quick shout out to AWA as well.
Definitely.
Right. We feel as though the Chi is standing on the shoulders of AWA, right? They're still around. They're like the living ancestors, who started this journey of a collective practitioners of health from indigenous cultural health for us by us, and so we're the next generation of that organization. So,
And they're honorary members.
yes, exactly. We're together. Events coming up.
Yeah.
Hand in hand, bridging the gaps, intergenerational. So we got you covered. Listen, we got you covered. Right on. And so, without any further ado, elaboration from Dr. Yu.
Peace, everyone. I don't think there's too much more to elaborate on. That I try to give the basics of the scope of what I offer through the bio, and just have been doing this work for about the past 13 or 14 years, give or take. Glad to be here. Prostate health for men, which is a big thing, which is more prevalent in the African American community than anywhere else in the world, statistically speaking. And I was actually just talking about metaphysics. We're talking about how men of African descent, or Black Americans, so to speak, African American men, are some of the most, for lack of a better way of putting it, disempowered, and how the prostate represents the power center of a man. And so, the societal disempowerment that happens within our communities affects us on a large scale, especially as men get older and they get, 40 plus, 50 plus years old, and they feel that they should be in a certain point in life. But it's even affecting younger generations now, because we are just becoming less and less equipped to deal with it from a genetic standpoint and from a lifestyle standpoint that we present. The workshops, the herbs, the metaphysics, the ways of thinking, all of that is so important. in this day, because we need all of those tools to get ourselves, our community back to a state where we can modify all of these attacks that are coming against us and put ourselves in a better position to rise above that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with all these diseases, going on around, there's a whole list of them. It's like everywhere you look, seems like there's something new popping up. And most people are familiar, especially here in the West, that you can pretty much go to your doctor or any, doctor for the most part and get a drug for any ailment that you have going on. Anything going on, there's a pill for it, as they say. So the question is, why, for someone who is informed, why would somebody want to use herbs, and specifically coming to you, Dr. You, for herbs, and what would they get, as far as information, insight, or, what would you have to share with someone about why herbs? What herb got to do with things?
Well, I'm going to start that out. Dr. Lion of Africa. And one of the things that he shared with us when we were going through our training was that there is no new way to die. What does that mean? That means that the body is programmed a certain way. Each of us have a particular program that the way that our bodies run according to nature and in conjunction with nature. And so anything that affects us in those particular ways that's already programmed. Herbs are one of the oldest forms of medicine on earth. So even most of modern medications are based on herbs and herbal medicine. They're literally founded from components or constituents of herbs, or other natural materials that they know have a certain certain interface, so to speak, with the body that can cause the body to respond in a way that can elevate our overall well-being. And that can go through many different mechanisms, and there's too many to actually get into on the show. But we have a few basics. You have a cleansing mechanism, a detoxification. You have a nourishing mechanism, which means that you're actually giving the body the nutrients that it needs to function normally. There's mechanisms where you can speed things up, so you can cause things to move more quickly in the body. For people who are feeling sluggish, down, depressed, so on and so forth, you have things that can elevate, that can give you more or promote giving you more energy. You have things that can also, on the balance side of that, calm you down, slow things down, slow down actions in the body. So if you have somebody who's too high strung, has trouble sleeping, anxious all the time, so on and so forth, there are herbs that can help to bring balance to that, And then you have herbs that help to just stabilize things. So those are some of the basic actions, and why somebody would come to myself or someone who does offers what I offer is because we have the knowledge base and the expertise and the perspective on how different herbs can work in that kind of regard. So as opposed to a lot of the literature that you may read, articles that you may read, things you may see on Google, on YouTube videos about herbs, it all talks about condition-based, and this herb is used for this condition. If I have high blood pressure, I'm going to take this herb for high blood pressure. If I have diabetes, I'm going to take this herb for diabetes. If I have cancer, I want this herb for cancer. But it never really gives you an idea about the mechanism and how the herb actually works. Well, it's very rare that you see that. And a lot of people also don't have the understanding about their own bodies and what's going on, with their own being, whether it be physical or metaphysical. So, and how all of that culminates and comes together to form whatever condition is present. And so one condition or diagnosis is not necessarily the condition of your body. It's two different concepts we're talking about. So if we're talking about diabetes, there's different types of diabetes, and there's different contributing factors that can lead to that diagnosis. So if you don't understand what those contributing factors are, what the energies are, and what the energies are of the herbs that you're taking, because we have to remember that herbs are also living beings. So, living beings, when we're living beings, the energy has to mesh. It's just like you go, when you connect with certain people you just don't mess with. So the herbs is the same way. You can actually make a condition worse if you utilize the wrong herb, or the herb that's not in conjunction with the energy that is going to balance you out.
Yep. Well, all right. There you have it from Clarice, Ketnu, and Dr. U, which leads us to the one they call Master of Shep, with the title of Comedic Metaphysical Warrior Priest, Soul Healer, and Boat Initiate. And what exactly does that have to do with health? Well, my person feels this best can be explained within its story on how it got here. Being born incarnated in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, came to Earth in 1972, down in the dirty South. Somewhat of a traditional upbringing. Ate what we ate, did what we did. And my person had no real insight on spirituality per se, and health. Spirituality and health were two concepts that were like foreign, And it wasn't until leaving, because of some traumatic experiences growing up, being raped and bullied and having to give your lunch money, racism, mom on drugs. It just caused my person to want to leave, want to run away, saying, get away from here, and kind of, say, make some of yourself, show them I'm somebody. And what my person did was it went to conform, fit in the box, do what it takes to get ahead, say, by any means necessary. And from my person's upbringing, my person was taught to assimilate. It's a white man's world. And if you want to get anywhere, then you would have to pretty much, make the white man happy. So, with those traumatic experiences, I wanted to leave. Got to get away from here, which led my person to DC by way of the Navy. And it was in 1993 that my person had this insight, again, traditional Christian upbringing, believing that, God is in the sky, sit high, look low, and that if you believe with your mouth, if you believe with your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ died for your sins, then you will be saved and be granted access to heaven. And it was during this time in 1993 that my person discovered that death, the traditional death, physical death, is actually a choice. Again, with the traditional Christian beliefs, my person was reading the Bible and found out two prophets, Enoch and Elijah, didn't die traditionally. They just went with God. So in 93, my person had this burning desire to just, God, the prayer was, God, to have such a relationship with you that when my work is done here, then we just become one. Work is done, become one, no 6 feet under, no physical death. And that was in 93. 21 years later, my person received insight on how to do that, how to take it from intellectual, or read about it, it sounds good, but actually, how do you do that? Some may call it ascension, or the rainbow body, or light body. Today's time in 2021, as they say, there are a lot of insight or words that kind of give insight to what my person's speaking about, ascension, not physically dying. So again, what does it have to do with health? In the process of creating, understanding what it takes to not die, my person understood, like, so who am I? Which is why my person says my person and not I, simply because I am not the physical body. Most of us have an experience with that. My head hurt, my stomach hurt, my mind is out of order, my heart, even my body. So my person just speak to make reference to that. I am not the body. The body, this physical body, is a vehicle that I use to experience and get around on this dimension. And so, in order to leave Earth that way, my person said, well, we have to align its heart and its mind. Realize, first of all, that this one body consists of, energetically speaking, because everything is energy, not only the physical body, which is energy, emotional body, which is energetic body, mental body, which is energy, and spiritual body, all these energetic frequencies, bodies. So the system is designed to align all these bodies, harmonize all these bodies, so that the soul, true self, God, can shine through, be felt in the physical body, to say, bringing heaven down to earth, experience the vibration of heaven, even though we say down to earth, the kingdom of heaven is within. That's what my person believes. God is within, heaven is within. So how to have an experience where we actually feel the presence of God within. So much so, and cultivate that relationship, whereas as we walk, we're walking with God. As we speak, we're speaking with God, as God would speak, as an encouraging, enlightenment, assisting, helping, things like this. And I guess to sum it up, my person like to say, most of us have heard the saying, I can do anything I put my mind to doing. So first was the creation of the Breath of Life Training, BOLT, BOLT. That's the acronym, BOLT. Breath of Life Training, BOLT Meditation Initiation System is a vehicle, a system that simply allows my person to practice, to work at understanding its heart, its mind, its physical body, things like that, to work to harmonize them. So again, so that the soul can come through, God can come through. So that anything that my person wishes to put its mind to doing, it will do. And like most things, easier said than done. Been on this journey for 6 years, well, 7 years now, solid. 2014 is when my person really said, okay, let's grab the title of Kemetic Metaphysical Warrior Priest, which simply just saying that metaphysics, my person approach from an ancient Kemetic or ancient Egyptian philosophy. That's all. Warrior priest, my person just go hard for God, going hard to evoke the presence within of God so God comes through. And again, that just, for my person, is the optimal, ultimate being of health, because we're becoming a God or God body or, these things like this. So Breath of Life Training, Kemetic Metaphysical Warrior Priest, founder of Soul Healer, which makes my person a soul healer, soul healing, soul healer, playing on the words, healing for the soul. So sharing a little insight, Master of Chef, Kemetic Metaphysical Warrior Priest, Bolt Initiate, and Soul Healer. Good, thanks.
Hi, I guess that puts me up next. I am Precious Porter, founder of Precious LLC. And I would describe myself in a word as a restorative practitioner. That way I use different things. Drama therapy, real strong instrument that I use in working with people. Crisis intervention looks like dealing with people who have emotional outbursts, who have any type of thing that disconnects them from being whole within themselves. And they need help, or they need a sounding board, or they need some direction to self-empower themselves to get out of whatever situation they're in. My background is in social work, psychology, and theater. And what I've done is uniquely blending all of the trainings, all of the studies to reach people where they are on the level that they need to be reached, so that they could be released from any trauma that they have. I am a survivor of cancer twice, ovarian cancer. I am a survivor of breast cancer. I am a survivor of domestic violence. And what I found was the things that I use to get myself out of situations has motivated me to always reach back and help someone else, to always reach back and make sure people understand whatever your situations are, you could find a way out. As Master Chef just said, it's what you think, it's what you tell yourself when you're going through, how you get through and proceed on to the next level of where you need to be. In domestic violence, we have a lethality checklist to make sure that you're planning and doing the proper things you need to do to keep yourself from inevitably being killed in a bad domestic situation. Well, what we don't tend to do is that same lethality checklist in our day-to-day lives. Sometimes we allow toxic environments, toxic people, toxic situations to kill us. And we may not physically die, but we spiritually die. We emotionally die because we haven't done the proper planning, the proper protections of self to keep ourselves from being ultimately taken out. So I help you to think about your situations, to help you to create your lethality checklist, and to help you to restore yourself to proper balance so that you don't end up dead, so that you don't end up lost to self, so that you don't end up in the space of not achieving who you should be at your best self because you've allowed some situation or some event or some occurrence to stop your progress. So in a nutshell, that's what I do as a restorative practitioner with the Chi. When we talk about looking at mind, body, and soul, what is my health looking like? What are the things that I need to do to make myself healthy? What does my mind look like? What am I saying to myself? What am I teaching myself? What am I feeding myself to help myself progress to where I need to be? And then coming back to, am I doing healthy practices? Am I exercising? Am I eating right? Am I doing everything that I can in this temple so that it can do what it needs to do to serve me best? That's me.
All right, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, gods and goddesses. So again, just wanted to give you guys an idea, more intimate idea for those who may not be as familiar with the Chi. What is the Chi? What we're all about, so that moving forward, you know, you feel more comfortable as we on this journey of health, healing, and wholeness together. And with that, just as a reminder, if you would like to check out more information about your holistic HMO, also known as the Chi Collective Health Initiative, you can check us out on iamit.me/IamHealth, which is our web page, which has, again, more services and things like that that we offer as a collective. And as well as remember to follow us on social media platforms at Collective Health Initiative on Facebook, as well as Instagram. And also as a reminder about our giveaway that we have coming up. Did you want to speak about that?
So what we're doing is we're giving out little prizes, awards to anyone that gives us a topic that we actually use on the air. So this way we get to actually talk about what it is that you want to hear and make sure that we show you our appreciation just for you being with us and giving us some things to talk about. So please, sign in, sign up. If you're not a part of the Collective Health Initiative group, make sure you become a part of the Collective Health Initiative group, because that's where we put a whole lot of information that will be beneficial to you. We look forward to hearing from you.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, and just one more quick note for those who may have caught last week's episode, last show, or who may go for it. It's going to be re-edited because there were some technical difficulties with the sharing of the video clips. And it seems that we haven't got that sharing under control now. We look forward to going forward in a very smooth flowing way as we, share different topics and things like this, different presentations. So again, give thanks for your patience and understanding. As again, we are more healers than IT people, you see. Health is what we're all about as we stretch beyond our comfort zone to engage more in technology. So everything is useful, can be beneficial. So there you have it. Yeah. All right. So with that, we'll see you next week once again for another episode of
The Health Class You Never Had.